to counterattack if Scylla gets a little bit too greedy.
We move into our first series of the day. Scylla Esports taking on the other team, and straight off a kickoff, the offense begins for the other team. We're looking for them to play slow. This feels a lot faster. Maybe changing up that momentum to kick things off. All right, Scylla.
I did love seeing Cyrix there, beating out 2 players, winning both those cheeky little ones. So that's the kind of stuff we want to see him doing, creating the positional advantage for his team.
Snarf passes in the middle. Great center. Daesu trying to finish it off. Definitely keeping on this offense. AoE Amp misses the touch. Second touch goes over to Snarf. We have been seeing a couple of Devos last week. Looking forward to seeing the potential of some more. And if anyone's going to do it, I feel like Scylla Esports were the ones who use that relentlessness. That's the only time I'm going to use that word. Snarf sets it up. That's a great touch for Daesu to find it off the post. The third touch, 1, 2, 3. Emp to get the first goal of week 2.
AoE Emp is a powerhouse up front, and giving him the opportunity to take advantage of that defense that was a little bit Swiss cheesy. I think Scylla's off to a great start.
Scylla Esports getting through that line of defense, like you said. The other team didn't know what hit them. There's only 50 seconds have passed, and it's Scylla Esports who take that first goal and that first bit of momentum. AoE Emp drives himself back into defense. Around this corner is where the other team are going to play. They set it up. It's going to bounce. Great setup again. Into that goal square, up and around. Daesu will be the one to receive and pass it through. It's a great through ball. It's going to be chased up, but the other team already back in defense with Scylla Esports again, trying their fast-paced movements. The other team finally get a clear.
Yep, they are getting it up into the other the other team, the Scylla side of the pitch, but they're not having much opportunity to try get the shots on. We are seeing way too much strong defense by Scylla, and the fact that they can just keep it up is not going to be looking too good for the other team.
The ball keeps on getting centered to AoE Emp, who is waiting right in front of that goal. Trying to shoot one through to the net. Cyrix with the setup on top. It's going to hit the backboard. Down to Siki to roll it through, but dead ahead is Snarf to roll again. Great save from one of our members. I believe it was Snarf there off the backboard again. The setup. Daesu has to deal with Siki. It comes on back around. The other team in top of the post. Very close call. The other team finally getting some shots, but the defense from Scylla Esports just is too much to handle.
Yeah, Siki coming in as well, trying to land the... Ooh, that was a scary moment there for the other team. Close shot on there by Scylla. We are seeing a lot of missed opportunities, though, coming from the other team. They're getting the opportunities, they're not following through. Good clear, though, in front of that goal.
Yeah, demolition in front of goal only by a couple of seconds. Scylla Esports have to deal with the other team resetting. Elusive will try for the clear, running on through. It's Scylla Esports now back into their defensive side. Daesu, but he sets it up for Cyrix off the backboard. Does it go over to Siki? Well, no. He just does a backflip, bit of showmanship. The other team will have to defend from this Scylla Esports pursuit once again.
Yeah, Siki's definitely a player I want to be looking at going into this game. He's a bit of a mechanical freak, so when he's on, he can pretty much carry the forward half on his own. When he's got players like Elusive and Cyrix backing him up in the midfield, they can create opportunities where he can just score from almost anywhere.
Both of these teams fighting for a win in game number 1. Scylla Esports, they are continuing to drive the other team out of their half, but what they're doing more so is offensive plays against the other team. And the attacking does not stop, but the other team trying to set it up methodically. Scylla Esports continue to interrupt.
Yeah, we are seeing the other team trying to build this pressure slowly, but they're struggling to get a shot closer to the backboard and are getting stuck in the corners, unable to move it more central. And because of this, it does give Scylla time to get the boost and then eventually come in for the intercept and push it upfield.
We speak of central, and that could have been a great setup for Scylla Esports. Cyrix won't get the clear, but Elusive to follow it up and fix that little blunder. It will be Siki to pass it on over. Just give them some breathing room for now, but other team are still a goal down with a minute to spare. They have another shot, but it's Snarf who will again clear it up the line, to Snarf again. But Elusive gets control of the ball. He's going to dribble it. It's a great passing play. Look for the shot. Cyrix is too far back to find the third. Other team have 45 seconds to work with here, but if it's Scylla's way, then it'll stay exactly the score it is. Cyrix into the air, off the backboard. The third, the shot was close by Elusive, but other team just can't find the right setup.
Yeah, they're starting to get the shots in the midfield that they need, but they're unable to follow it up in actual shots on goal, which are the ones that actually count, Hysterics.
Well, if they can't find the shots, then it's going to stay exactly like it is. Like we said, 20 seconds remaining. Elusive will send it on up to Siki. The ball for the other team is looking pretty good, but 10 seconds to work with. Maybe one more play in game number 1. Xerix will not find it, but instead a shot into goal. Saved by Elusive, but with only 1 second remaining and that ball to hit the ground, Scylla Esports will take game number 1.
Ooh, that was a close game, Hysterics, but it's exactly what we expected going into today. 2 top teams battling it out. Lots of shots trying to go in, but the defense from both teams a little too strong.
Snarf, you can see his shots there absolutely popping off in game number 1. Not only that, but just playing a very controlled game of Rocket League to start us off for week number 2. And if we know anything about Scylla Esports, is that this pace, this momentum is really working for them.
Oh, it certainly is. You could see the pressure they put on the other team when they're going forward. I really struggled to say their name. And at like 2 minutes 58, we had, pardon?
You can try Tot.
Yeah, we'll go for Tot. We see Tot coming in, and at 2 minutes 58, they had a range of about 5 consecutive shots around goals.
Yep.
They pretty much made a perfect little McDonald's M around it, unable
Cute.
to land anything in. And it wasn't so much in that situation that Scylla's defense was too strong. It was just a lack of consistency with their accuracy and shot positioning that let them down there. But we did see in the last minute, at about 50 seconds time to go, they did that great aerial intercept, which followed up to a pass, and then they didn't get the goal on, but the play was really, really nice. So if they can get that going into this game, I reckon they'll be able to take it back.
But the question is still whether they can get that going. And I guess with a team like the other team, you are expecting something that's like, okay, let's do something slow, methodical. Let's also think about our play a little bit more in depth, whereas Scylla are just kind of clearing and all guns blazing. So we will jump into game number 2 very shortly. Everyone left. Everyone's like, no. We just give it up. That's game number 2. There's no winner just yet. We're going to be right back. Everyone's like, no, it's okay. So the other team, if we go and look at, how they play slow, and we continually say, yes, that is their condition, think about your plays. Scylla are just intercepting, and they're just saying no every single time. That's it.
Scylla, even when they lose possession of the ball, are losing in a way that isn't giving the other team the opportunity to make something of it.
Yep.
So they may be able to get the possession, but they're not be able to capitalize on it, which means in about 30 seconds so, Scylla's just going to turn it right back on them, move up the other side of the pitch, and start building the pressure there.
That's what they've been doing in game number 1. I expect to see that again in games 2 and beyond. You guys both predicted 3-2s coming into this series, and you said that Scylla Esports would take the game. But it feels like in this game number 1, it was just all about Scylla Esports having, I guess, time on their side, which doesn't really make sense when you think about how other teams want to play it slow. You think about how Scylla just want to clear and get it on up.
No, that's a great point.
I think that Scylla Esports are just in control, at least in game 1.
Yeah, they're definitely in control. Even when, as I said, even when they started to lose that control over the game, it was never in such a way that they felt they were super stressed.
Yeah.
We always got to see their rotations weren't the cleanest, but they were clean enough to make up for the other teams.
Cleaner.
Yeah, that's it. They were cleaner, and that's the important thing, right? You just need to play better than the other team. And I expect a team like Scylla over the course of this series is just going to get better. But it's whether Siki comes up and performs that I think will be critical to the other team getting a game.
And I think in games number 1 of series, we've always seen these teams, I think warming up is an overused phrase. I think these teams sort of coming online and sort of, finding the weakness, finding the gap of the other team, and specifically in the other team. It's always been about, how are they playing this week, and how has their playstyle changed, or has it even changed at all? And Scylla Esports in game number 1 may have read that, but the other team could have just been like, they're still a fast-playing team. They're still putting on the pace. Now, how do we match that as we go into game 2?
Yeah, pace is exactly what we're going to be talking about this game. If the game slows down enough, we should be expecting the other team to pull out a win.
That was a great setup there from the other team, and as momentum builds again, we're going to see Scylla Esports just fire it on through with that clear. The other team trying to set it up, but they cannot. They're still in defense. Scylla Esports come crashing red hot. That's AOEM. Off the wall now, goes for the challenge, will lose possession. The other team still on defense, just need to get it a clear. Siki now with his own shot will be pierced away by Scylla Esports, and Elusive pushes on up. Xerix there for the follow-through. Great pass. 1, 2, and 3. Xerix with a setup off the backboard. The third, the fifth. Final beautiful by the other team.
That's the exact moment we had last game, but this time execution was on point. They got the backboard play, both of them up, a little bit of miscommunication, but they got the final touch down into the goal.
And 5 different touches there from the other team was a fantastic play to bring us off. Let's talk about methodical plays once again, Korea, because that was exactly what the other team just showed us.
Yep, they have the ability to do it, and if we can see the consistency now, getting those shots on target, they're going to be pulling out big counterattacks, which Scylla would just have to be worried about every time they run forward.
The other team now, they may be in defense, but having that first goal is a stroke of lightning. No, that would ensure luck. Stroke of skill. Let's find out what kind of element means skill. As Xerix will just be sitting in front of this goal square. He clears it off to this left-hand side, and Snarf brings it back in, but the other team just going to try and set it up for him. Here comes Elusive, hits the roof for Zicky again, rolls it down. It's going to be a bit of a low pass, but no one to receive. Snarf tries for the challenge, but it's still in Scylla Esports' defensive side. The touch into the corner, bumped is Snarf, but he will land right back in front of his goal. The other team, this is a very different style in game number 2.
Yeah, the intercepts from the other team have been so good in the last 2 minutes, stopping anything Scylla really starts, and then beating them out every time they go for a 1v1, except for this moment here, where we've just seen Daesu, part of the 3-man combo of Scylla, put away that goal.
It was a great setup from Amp as well. Scylla Esports will equalize. It's just an opening, a weakness in the other team's line of defense. And they punch it through. Scylla Esports clearing it with 3 minutes remaining in game number 2. Here's our first series of the week. Both teams showing some flaws, but also showing some really good sides. Elusive now has a shot. Cracker goal. It's going to be Daesu to defend. Xerix, ball hits the roof. It's going to bounce down in front of Elusive, but Scylla Esports grab it first. Now Amp taking the ball himself with a quick dribble. Intercepted again. Challenged away. Scylla Esports continuing to provide pressure into the other team's side of the field. They will finally clear it up, and Scylla look like they have a little bit more control after their first goal. And let's take warming up out of the equation. It's more they have just sort of switched on and are starting this once again.
Yeah, the other team there were going for very mild clears, which did mean that Scylla got possession of the ball right back within about 10 seconds, pushed it straight up into the field, and got back on the attack. Now we're starting to see the bigger clears, allowing them to build the backboard pressure we'd like to see.
Scylla Esports have to defend against the other team, but Amp finally gets it up. Ball bounces over. That could be a goal, but not this time. Xerix back in time. Daesu to follow on, but will not. Scylla Esports still sitting at 1-1. 2 minutes remaining. Snarf into the air. Little bit messy. Might open it for the other team off the backboard. Amp will not give over control to the other team. It's exactly where they want to be. Zicky has to challenge 3 members of Scylla Esports, but they will just ride it off the wall. Amp, is he going to pass it over? Snarf comes in. Is this coordinated or is it messy again? I don't know just yet, but Elusive will find the clear, so I guess Scylla Esports have to recover.
Yeah, good capture there by Zicky. Small clear by Xerix did open the opportunity for interception. Zicky reading it though, beats them to it, taking the ball up to the other side of the pitch.
Bump to come through. The other team still on defense. 1:15 remaining. AoE Amp drives on back. Scylla Esports look like they can just take this into overtime, but setups are still there. Amp over to Snarf. Snarf now off the wall, back over to Amp. Not following the ball through off the backboard. Could be a great setup again. The shot onto goal. Amp with a great save off the corner. Will slow down the other team, but not in the way they like.
Yep, we just saw another 2 big opportunities coming out for the other team, but they didn't have the ability to close out the goal, even though a potential shot was there. That's the kind of plays I normally would expect Zicky to be able to capitalize on. And there we go. The outplay by Scylla, putting that goal neatly into the mouth.
Amp comes in and follows it through. Snarf with the setup right down the center. That was a great ball, and Scylla Esports now a goal up at 30 seconds remaining. The other team, what was such a fantastic start and what was such a beautiful goal to watch. Expecting a little bit more. Scylla Esports have taken full control of this game. They're setting up another play. Emp right in front of that goal square tries to drive it on through, but the other team now is their opportunity. Syrinx misses the ball. Scylla, they're back in control as Syrinx has to recover. The ball's going to bounce in front of that goal, and it drops in. Scylla Esports with the third.
I'm so excited to watch this replay, running across the entire pitch as well, telegraphing his play and excellent control before running it down. The other team didn't know where to be.
Scylla Esports look like they have just taken the second game, unless other team have 17 seconds to not blink, not hide, not run, but instead fight. Fight for your life as a second loss in the series. Week number 2 of league play would put yourself very far down the ladder. And getting their second game, Scylla Esports rolls it through. Daisu, very nice. The 4th goal, yet that'll lock it in.
Yet that is a cheeky offensive goal there. That's going to be it. We now have a 2-0 lead to Scylla.
Scylla Esports have just come back in game number 2 flying. The other team, they pulled back. They slowed it down. They did what they could, but Scylla Esports played their own style of Rocket League, and it worked out, Korea.
It certainly did. I think the big thing we can talk about going into the next game, it's about consistency. See, with Scylla, they may have had a lot of the pressure that they built up, but when they had the opportunity for shots, they're much more likely to land them. They only had 6 shots on, but they had 4 goals.
Yeah.
Which means they had 67% accuracy. And then on the flip side, we have the other team, who had, I can't remember the number off the top of my head. My pen did die when I was writing notes. Oh, no. So they had about 10 shots, and they had, what, 1 goal?
Pretty much.
That's not the odds you really want. So we did see lots of big plays where they got 5-man touches off the backboard and in the corner from the other team, but they were unable to land anything off it. Siki didn't hit the shots down. He kept hitting the top backboard. But on the other side, Scylla, consistency was theirs, and they got the wins.
I mean, consistency, or at least just like full-on Scylla tactics. And Emp is someone we've looked at in the past, and he knows how to follow a setup. And you guys were talking about Daisu and how successful he has been, especially last week, and now coming through that he will be playing some more games for Scylla Esports. It's great to see this guy getting some more experience because he definitely deserves it, and he's definitely a rising star.
Oh, yeah, he played exceptional. That final goal in the last couple of seconds was absolutely beautiful to watch. And the cool thing about it is, even as the teams start to adapt to Daisu's playstyle and the way that Scylla's team is changing as a whole, we're going to see Dumbo later in the tournament come back as well. So they're going to have to readapt again. So if Scylla can play really well with both their sub and their core roster, they're going to be shaking things up.
Well, shaking things up and completing themselves as a team. Scylla find a win in this next game. They will take the series 3-0. And a 3-0 win here is huge. Not that it makes any difference as a win, but of course it does make a difference for their mentality. And Scylla Esports are a team who, in the past, well, when you look at their lineup, haven't had the best luck in best of 5 and best of 7 series. It has felt pretty bad, man, I guess you could say. Sorry for the meme. It has felt pretty reserved when you look at them and you say, oh no, this is not happening, is it? If it's a reverse sweep or if it's, taking it to all 7.
Yeah, like last game.
All 7 games.
The Jam.
The Jam reverse sweep last week, or even, when you look back at the Sandcastle mob. It has been a pretty rough road for them, and a 3-0 win here would be fantastic. I think, speaking mentality-wise, this would get them back on track, and for Daisu, who was a sub and I guess now is kind of a core part of the roster, it will just build them up.
Oh, yeah, that's really important. So if you look back at the other seasons of Throwdown and a lot of community events, Sandcastle, now Scylla, they lived in 3rd place. Yep. That was the place they made their home, unhappily made their home. And because of that, they need to be getting these early wins now, because if you start going into the gauntlet having 2 losses, you're not taking the top slot. You're probably not going to take the second. You're going to be in that 3rd or 4th slot where they have been living.
Yep.
And 3rd or 4th slot going into these finals has never worked for them before.
No, but it is looking a lot better now. And, we have said that in the past. And we have been saying, 2 games, they've got this, it's good. We don't want to jinx it. We do want to just move on forward with this potentially last game. Scylla take this 3-0. They get themselves a win, and they kind of keep themselves safe for now, or at least push themselves up. Whereas You See Me will be 0-2, and You See Me, there's some dire consequences there. They do push themselves down.
Yep, the other team there, Jake. I know it's an early morning. It happens to the
best
of us. You See Me.
Close.
Now you don't.
But the other team, you know,
Yeah.
they fall down. That's pretty bad.
No, you're very, very right. The other
Not that
team,
early.
everything you said was 100% correct. You don't want to fall down to that 0-2. And as such a strong team as well, these are our regular fourth seeds as well. Syrix is a veteran of the scene. You've seen him through numerous tournaments.
Yep.
He's always had Elusive at his back for the recent times. Yeah, and Sicky's so mechanically gifted. We cannot stress that enough. He may not have played on form last game, missing a couple of crucial shots, which could have turned everything around.
Yep.
But when he's on,
He's on.
he's on.
He's definitely on. And we are about to jump into our last game. We did have some issues, but now we're back. I believe Daisu was on 128 ping. And I mean, I have played Rocket League on that. It does not work out. The ball is suddenly at the wrong side of the field. Game number 3. Scylla Esports already up 2 games. And the other team, not you see me, are going to be fighting to take down the top seed, at least in this best of 5 series.
And we cracked jokes before about Daisu not having the strongest defense, but beautiful saves opening us up. And we'll see if the other team can keep building the pressure that they've been struggling to hold against themselves.
Scylla Esports already starting great as the ball has remained up the other team's half. They're going to punch it on through again. Siki to go back. Where was the defense?
Well, definitely not where they need it. Demo's ahead. Let's see if it stays exciting for the rest of it. Great shot by Snarf, though, taking advantage of that open goal. I'm not entirely sure what Syrix was doing there, Hysterix. I feel like the goal was far enough away that he had the opportunity to jump, but may have been a little bit distracted.
Other team lose that first goal. Scylla Esports, great start of the kickoff. And 2 members, the third. The ball will just redirect to that left-hand side, off the wing, off the wall. Daisu trying to aerial it on down. Snarfs up with the setup. Intercepted by Siki, but the ball still bounces in front of that goal square. Let's have another look. The other team jumping on through. Mid-air demolition by Syrix. And he jumps on back. The other team have to get the ball out of this half. Daisu has another crack at goal with Elusive on the left-hand side clear. Goes cross-field, and the other team finally can get it out of there, but I feel like the response from Scylla Esports will just bring it on back.
Well, the good demo there. The touch, not exactly what they wanted for Syrix to be able to get in range, but it doesn't matter because Elusive's having the follow-up to start building the pressure. If they can keep the rotations tight, they may be able to convert this into the draining of boost and eventually a goal.
The other team finally starting with their offense. The attacking continues, setting it up for Siki. The ball to bounce, open goal again. And this time, it's the other team taking advantage.
They've finally done it again. We saw that last game once. They got the 5-man touch play together, and they've done it again. Opened up the goal and just punched it away, taking advantage of drawing the defense out.
Neck and neck, game number 3, Scylla Esports. Pretty much getting scored on by the exact same condition that the other team lost their goal on. Now sending it on up. There's Elusive on the corner. He's off of the wall. Syrix to bounce the ball through, but will not get the better touch. The shot on goal can now come from Scylla Esports as they'll drive it around this corner. As it hits the roof, there's 2 members pushed up. They set it up off the backboard. Get the clear out. Elusive drives it down the right-hand wing. Sets it up for Syrix to bounce through. The second touch, the third was there for Siki. He misses the ball, he whiffs. It goes on past Daisu now. Couple of good shots, couple of good setups from both these teams, but still 1-1 with 3 minutes remaining. A lot of time to work with.
I'm loving the rotations coming out of the other team on defense, where they're having Syrix sit in the goal and Elusive try to take the shot, and Syrix with the follow-up if he misses.
Oh, that was a great attempt again. Siki with the shot. Amp rotates back. Snarf, he's playing it a little bit slow. Now comes off the wall. The speed drives on up. Around this corner, we still play it, and Daisu to set it. Ball's going to bounce back down. We continue to watch these rotations from Scylla Esports. They punch the ball up. They send everyone up. Then the other team finally get it back on down. The defense continues around this corner. It goes to the other. The other team have 2 minutes to work with here. How slow and methodical can you get? Who's in the goal? No one! Scylla Esports off the roof. Here's the action.
Ooh, that was another cheeky one from Scylla. Very similar to what we saw last game. Running it across. A little bit of an open goal for him, but a beautiful play nonetheless. The other team unable to get up in the air to stop it.
Not even off the roof. Medium range, medium game, 2-1. Scylla Esports dealing with a bit of fire as the shot comes through from the other team. Right back at you, they say. Still a great start from Scylla Esports, having that early goal. Yes, it was gold. I did say it by accident again. It's a bad habit. Scylla Esports now dribbling it himself. They go for another touch. Is it an open goal? There's 2 members there from the other team, so the answer is no. Scylla Esports going to pass it on over to Snarf. He gets intercepted, loses touch, loses control again. Get some revenge. That's what the other team is thinking right now. Amp off the backboard is just going to dribble it past. Great play. Great methodical play. But the follow through. 1, 2, 3 off the backboard. Looking for the Devo, but it's not quite. Not even close, you'd say. A lot of bumping going on. A lot of aggressiveness. Everyone's a little bit angry. Bumped again. Look at him. Cyrix just corners him in. It's like the Grease movie. No, it's not. That never happened.
Yeah, not a lot of cornering in Greece, but we are seeing lots of Grease lightning coming through. Fast plays from both teams on the offense, and they both want to start slowing it down. Scylla wanting to bleed the clock, and the other team just wanting to get used to their normal play style.
Amp positions on forward, 50 seconds remaining. Cyrix is still in defense, off the wall. Amp reads it nicely, will dribble it. No, in fact, Snarf comes on in. Good communication, good coordination, but 40 seconds remaining, and the other team, they have to be on that level. Where Scylla Esports continue to defend nicely. The ball's going to bounce in front of the square, but Elusive jumps up, not in time. Siki is the last defender, the last point of contact. Lucky he's there, but Scylla get it on past him. The setup, Cyrix, he finds the ball first. Daesu sitting in this midfield, a lot of control in this center region. With Cyrix with the setup, the ball bounces down 2-all. Siki. Very nicely done.
Well, that's what we've been wanting to see. Siki is really mechanically gifted, so we want to be seeing these huge, beautiful plays out from his shots.
Missed defense from Scylla Esports, but great that the other team can preach a 2-all at 20 seconds remaining. Scylla, the ball will now go over to Snarf, intercepted quickly by Cyrix. Remains in the air. Scylla look like they are most comfortable here. Following up from the other team, the ball centered in. 7 seconds remaining. This is game number 3. To think it would go to overtime after Scylla showed such a great performance. No one would have thought it would be here, but here we are indeed.
Yep, first overtime of the day. This shows whether or not Scylla can take a 3-0 lead and feel strong and powerful going into the rest of the tournament.
Yep,
oh
no,
my God,
not quite.
So close.
One follow-up was all that was necessary with only 10 seconds. Scylla bring it on back. Mistouch by Cyrix. One more bounce. Follow it through. The goal was there. But Siki, open it up. No, he doesn't get the clear. Cyrix again on the defense. He will save the day for now. But Scylla Esports have just started this one off bloody.
Oh, the defense there from the other team, so strong. Bulwark against that ball. They really need to start turning this around and take advantage of the hideously greedy offense from Scylla, who was so close to working out.
Cyrix timing the ball nicely. It will go up to Siki. Elusive waiting in the wing. The touch into the corner would have been the up and 90 follow through. Scylla Esports, everyone's in defense right now, and Elusive will not stop the offense. As Scylla finally get their touch through. They've got the momentum, they've got the drive. It's Daesu, it's Scylla as a unit. The setup in front of the goal, 1 touch, 2 touch. The third will come from Daesu. As Cyrix brings it on back down. Could be great for the other team. Dropping down. Right from the heavens was the other team, but Scylla will now have another shot.
Elusive has been critical in stopping the 3-man pushes from Scylla after the other team overextends or gets stuck in defense, but unable to close out the goals by himself. Hopefully he can build the pressure, or stop the pressure rather, that Scylla is building for his team to score.
Snarf, and now Scylla Esports opening through Amp out of nowhere. Doesn't even have the Batmobile, but we couldn't see him coming.
Beautiful setup, and then the follow-up underneath. Cyrix closes out our first game. Scylla taking that beautiful 3-0.
And it's good to see that Scylla Esports finally get a clean series. I mean, honestly, when can you say that they haven't taken it to Game 4, Game 5? Emp would be happy with that. I know that Snarf and Daesu both having pretty consistent series, but the shot percentage, the high amount of pressure that came from Scylla Esports in that series was absolutely incredible. And we look at Scylla Esports, a clean 3-0. Cheese, man. I think they'll be happy with that.
I mean, Scylla, they would have to be happy. We thought it was going to be a close series, but even though the series wasn't close, the games technically were. The second game blew out, but it was because of the way that the other team were playing. Other team, when they got behind, They struggled a lot more. They weren't doing those slow plays like that massive 5-man pass play.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you do when you have time, when you're taking it slow. But whenever they felt rushed, again, that was when they fell apart.
Yeah, their shots got very, very sloppy when they felt like they were under pressure. Yeah. Even in some of the attempted big pass plays, we did see they probably landed about 50% of those 5-man touches. A lot of the times, they could have been a 3-man touch if they just had landed the third shot a little bit cleaner, because it normally went a little high and hit that backboard.
Yeah, we thought that Scylla Esports, it would be up to them whether they executed or not, but in the end, I really felt like it was the other team who failed to execute. Syrix in particular, I'm going to call you out. He had a few really bad touches in defense. The first goal and all of those goals in the last game, there were some defensive mistakes going on.
Absolutely.
And in particular, he was the one hitting the crossbar the most and failing to really capitalize on some really great opportunities that they had.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think it was a case of, on the offense, they were missing the opportunities. We can see across every single game, even the ones they were winning, their shot percentage was nowhere near as good as what you normally expect from them, because they are such strong players. And also, they're jumping on defense. A lot of the times, they'd have a goal coming in from midfield, and they still didn't get up in the air in the time to stop it.
Yeah, but how good was Daesu in that series? Scylla, you know, we were talking about how Scylla Esports with momentum pace, like use whatever words you want to say. It was going to be a fast game from them. And Daesu, when you looked at that head-to-head, or at least that star players from each roster, it was definitely Daesu on the top of that ladder.
He was right at the top. He got quite a few goals, but it really felt like a team effort. Coming out from Scylla, which is interesting, you know, bringing in a sub and then playing as a team, that's very difficult to do. So I really want to give props for Daesu for being able to fit in, more than the fact that he got a solid amount of goals and saves, but the fact that he blended
as a team, Scylla, definitely need to give props to Scylla Esports. However, we have more Rocket League coming up today. So a big congratulations to Scylla Esports taking 3-0. They will be 1-1. And unfortunately, not you, Simi, but the other team will be 0-2. Thank you very much for the support. Coming up next, however, we do have Jam Gaming going up against the other team. So let's see if the other team can recover, or if Jam Gaming in good form will continue to drive. We'll see you in